season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through. He's just gonna solidify everything from those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKT, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lures, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Adlet immediately to back, like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the globe, or just here in NA potentially, for another match on CGL. This time around, we've got an NA Diamond match, round 2 of their mid-season tournament. Cuddle Puddle going up against Death Blossom. I am Megalas. That is Nya. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. It's like we're back here up on the desk once again for a phenomenal match that could just happen. But yeah, both of the teams coming up into this one very, very strong. I am expecting a great series between both. Cuddle Puddle showing great players up on their roster, but as well Death Blossom too. So we should have back-to-back action here.
Exactly. Could not have said it better myself. And Cuddle Puddle already staking a pretty good name for themselves. Round 1, taking down. I just had their name up and I've forgotten it. Regardless, it was a team that had not dropped a map coming into midseason. Meanwhile, Cuddle Puddle had a 3-1 record and just handily dispatched them in a 3-0 fashion. Now coming up on another team that has not dropped a map here. So, while Cuddle Puddle has been here before, it certainly is daunting to go against these squads that have never, shown any flaws here.
Yeah, it's like the tough teams face the ones that, have or need a challenge here. And I think Cuddle Puddle is a perfect team to represent that. They're going to be battling this uphill battle, and Death Blossom is just a great fit. But let's take a look at these lineups, right? Both of the teams have great players, and we will have Cuddle Puddle up here.
Yep, Cuddle Puddle first. You have Doryu, I should say, and Geo on that DPS line. Brooke being the tank, and then Executee and Battle Josh on that support line. And again, this is a squad that a lot of people are, favoring here in this Diamond tier, despite that 3-1 record, having a regular season loss already. They are certainly one to be considered formidable here.
Yeah, and I love the little logo of the otter. It's fantastic from the side of Cuddle Puddle. But let's take a look at our next roster here. This is going to be exciting to see because we get to see Death Blossom. And Death Blossom, they got some players to look at up on the DPS line. We got Deadeye and JML up on our tank role, only Omega, and our supports here are going to be Rye and Infuse Onion. So a lot of names to look at here, Omega, but one of these teams with the names are going to be crowned champions heading forth. So let's do what we do here as casters,
Exactly. The last time I got to see Death Blossom on stream, it was a few weeks ago at this point, but they were doing some very dominating plays here. Outside of, one memorable misstep from JML, maybe getting a little too aggro on the Hanzo. But yeah, we'll have to see how these teams match up against each other here. But before they can get into the lobby, they have to decide the all-important bans for map number 1 here. And really, we saw earlier today, the bans can go all over the place in terms of what they want to deal with, what they want to get out of what they want to get out of the way. Either there's graphical error or the countdown is pointless, as there's currently a ban sticker over Malga for Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, so Cuddle Puddle, as it seems to be, they're gonna be, picking a ban. But yeah, in the matter of 5 seconds, I expect this to be a DPS or a support that could come out from one of the two. But probably a support here would probably be best. And the support pick is going to be Ana, so you don't got to worry about that perk of that anti-grenade bouncing around, right? Or that double nano or crit of scope. But let's take a look at Death Blossom here, Mega. What do you think they're going to choose here?
I mean, it's really tough to say because the Ana ban is such a particular one because banning Ana also effectively means that the enemy team doesn't have to play Kiri. You know, you're not going to need that cleansing Suzu unless you're opting into Kiri for other reasons, like you just think maybe the kunai can land. So afterwards, in terms of a ban, I don't really know where exactly Death Blossom wants to go, but it seems like DPS is what they had their eyes on, and Sombra is going to be the ban, potentially not wanting to get their tank hacked up on entryway and things of that nature. But overall, an interesting set of bans, especially to start out on Oasis here. You don't think of Ana or Sombra too often on this map, so essentially just testing the waters to see what the other team's all about.
Yeah, very quite cool here from Death Blossom, the ban this Sombra. You don't got to worry about hacks for that engage. But as well, Sombra does have that perk of healing, I believe, that you can hack your own teammate or something, and you could throw heals to them, so you really don't got to worry about that anymore. But here we go, Mega. We got Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom heading up into Oasis Map 1. You look at the map, that could be presetted. It could be seen as brawl-type compositions. Dive could be seen here, but as well, I always like to say poke 2, because 3 is the lucky number. Why not?
3 is the lucky number. It's the number of maps you need to win to advance in this series to a spot in the grand final. So we'll have to see who is able to come up with it here as we get started on University. Already highlighting some interesting compositions. Both teams hovering the Malga. Of course, it doesn't have to leave spawn, but we know just how strong Malga is in the meta right now.
Yeah, very, very strong indeed. This has been a composition that the Pro Seed is actually playing. These, teams have probably looked up to these guys and has said, hey, we got to run this because this is the current meta and this is the sheet that we want to run off of. And looking at it, both tanks are going to be going aggressive here up into that lower right room. But maybe if you're Death Blossom, you're able to take this upper. So not too bad positions happening from both.
Yeah, so 2 positions, very different approaches to this map. We'll have to see how these teams want to react. It seems like the team that went lower, Cuddle Puddle, is going to try to aggress onto the high ground here, at least play towards the objective as it begins to unlock. But now that'll cause the rotation to come out both sides, so they're now just looking for an opportunity to meet each other on the point. I'm sure this May is looking for a wall here. Gets a pretty good cutoff onto both the Malga and Reaper, but the Juno simply jumps on top and is healing from above. Now JML has worked their way into the backline to take FTD out of the fight. It's going to be the Malga the second to follow, making a third with all of the team really helping out on this one, and Death Blossom takes the first line.
Yeah, Death Blossom did a great job there. They have 62% up into that cage fight. So if you're looking at Death Blossom here, they could charge that up against Cuddle Puddle, but you're getting to see Cuddle switch towards Geo up onto the cast, so a little bit of a difference there for them. But yeah, this is not too bad of a switch up from Geo. I feel like Geo could definitely get this high ground pressure. It just depends upon how they position.
Depends on the positioning. We'll have to see how it goes. The duplicate comes through from Deadeye here, and it's going to be onto the Cassidy, where those Malga miniguns are focused now. Broke the next one to follow. This is exactly what I expected from Death Blossom. The cage from the dupe to boot here. See if they can catch anything else, but it'll just be the duplicate to secure the fight.
Yeah, wonderful duplicate here from Deadeye, and you also get to see JML. They're going to have that Reaper Blossom ready to go, but Orbital Ray and other ultimates coming up on the side of Death Blossom, which they could use against Cuddle Puddle. They're running in numbers with that percentage, but look at that. Only Omega
Now a freeze coming through inside of the cage, so everybody frozen up, simply waiting for an opportunity. Now the rally being committed. Only Omega still alive despite everything, but you are missing a DPS, one of the key factors in this fight. Now Rye will be the next to fall here, missing from the fight, so he's down 2, making it almost down 3. Few times Gio has to flick back to make sure that that Echo finally succumbs to those gunshots. Amalga is trying to do their best to stay alive, but only Omega must meet their end here. But still, Death Blossoms stalled this fight out long enough that they're coming up on a final fight if they can get a fight win.
Yeah, so Death Blossom here, 87% in their running. Cuddle Puddle have ultimates to do so. Executy could come back with Orbital Ray, which that could be a wonderful ultimate to pop and get back up into with aggressiveness. But as well, Geo can go in with a speed ring here from Executy. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Seems to be Geo. Oh my gosh.
Geo doing the most here. It is going to be JML actually turning the tides here. Has evened it up into a 3v3 situation here, but the Reaper now a little bit too far in. But the Coalescence is, I'm seeing things to try to keep JML alive. The healing that came through, it just wasn't enough. And now with the Amalga being walled off, only Omega not long for this world. Chooses to commit the cage though, figuring that it can be turned. Now an Orbital Ray from Executing to try to boost things in Brook's favor a little bit here. Another dupe Amalga though, it does not matter because the blizzard is massive. Everybody frozen up for the time being here. And now Brook again being able to weather the storm.
Yeah, and if you're Cuddle Puddle here, very well done. Brook able to get up onto only Omega here. So Omega will have to get back here from spawn, but you have JML, which is coming back from spawn with that Reaper Blossom. If you are JML, you can position off of that top skirt and get up onto the backline of Cuddle Puddle to force a sustain of rally, or just execute all of the Cuddle Puddle side. We will see the tell with the percentage still running here. Can JML find some answers?
We'll have to see, as now the Death Blossom is looming, but the Raid Storm is burnt. Now it's going to be a Death Blossom who kills 2, as well as a follow-up in the Brig on Brig violence. Now Brook realizing that they are going to have to try to turn the impossible here. The May can't even get on point to use the cryo, and I don't think there's going to be a touch as the team kill rings out. Death Blossoms take round number 1.
Hey, it's up in the name, right? Death Blossom, a little bit of a Death Blossom from JML. Wonderful stuff, wonderful work. But you do get to see the supports sustaining that team very, very well and unique here, Mega. So wonderful work from them. But you're looking at a team with Brook up on the side of Cuddle Puddle, which really put up the competition there. Same with Geo, switching up onto the cast, but now playing this Genji and a little bit more switch-ups coming from both of the sides. It is a new map, right? You can play this high ground depending upon where you want to play. But Brook going to be running out here with some sort of a Winston composition. So looking at dive, and look at that fast pace comp coming out up on the side of Omega and Death Blossom. This is going to be intriguing.
Yeah, it certainly is a change of pace. We'll have to see how these dives mirror into each other with the slight differences in the composition here. Trying to see if either of these Genjis want to do anything just yet. Geo is just going to be throwing out some shurikens, seeing what can be found. Nothing major just yet, but actually both Genjis at damn near the same time get a dash through onto the opposing Juno. That's a major source of healing down, but now, speaking of that missing source of healing, Geo is missing from the fight at the hands of Deadeye. The Wrecking Ball potentially a little bit more sustainable than the Winston, at least for now, but nobody's been able to secure the point just yet. It's still a chaotic, undecided fight here. The Brig is trying to live for the time being and has the Juno back to be able to provide that healing. Only Omega down to 20 HP, finally taken down with this Tracer, so now everything should slowly be starting to go in Cuddle Puddle's favor here.
Yeah, and Ryu doing a great job playing up on this Tracer against Deadeye. Deadeye will have this pulse advantage for the side of Death Blossom, but look at that poundering damage from Enderu up onto the side of Death Blossom. That could be something critical for the side of Death, but they gotta be aware. Deadeye has that pulse bomb that could make that factor of switch up. And who knows how Deadeye is going to position this, but JML up in the kill feed, up on the Josh.
We'll have to see, because now with the 4v4 already in the fight, make that 3 for the side of Cuddle Puddle. No supports alive for it now, as means that Geo is going to be the next one to fall here. And Dorio is going to be able to find one onto JML, but it seems like they are simply fighting a losing battle, as now they're having to deal with a full HP Tracer directly in their face, and Deadeye is going to be able to secure that kill. Now one onto the Winston as well. The Break thought they were coming back to help, but it's just to die again as Death Blossom takes the flip.
Yeah, Death Blossom still doing what they are doing, and a great way to turn this one up in their percentage, right? They're now percentage running, and they have ultimates. They got the mines ready to go, and as well, Denai still ready to go with that pulse, but JML trying to charge up that blade. So they got multiple factors that they can oppose up on the side of Cuddle Puddle, but a little bit of a interesting play from Omega, but great way to pop the mines up, I would say.
Yeah, and that mine is creating so much space. Brook's having to take the time to disintegrate that one. And while it was happening, you now have, again, a trade of Junos, actually, as Brook is there, has the Primal Wraith ready to commit as well, potentially in a small room. It could be deadly, but not needed just yet, and now the other supports are traded out, so no healing. It's just going to be raw numbers against each other right now, and it seems like slowly but surely this is favoring the side of Cuddle Puddle. They do have a Wrecking Ball to contend with, but only Omega is not healthy. The Adaptive Shield already procced, and now trying to run for their life, but it was a failed attempt to run for their life, shall we say. Stall attempts now just coming out on the side of Death Blossom here. They don't want to relinquish point control for free, so it is going to be the Juno, the next one to fall, followed up with a Pulse Bomb. Actually takes out two! Deadeye from the grave here, doing absolutely massive work, but it's just not enough. Everybody still, he's just dying on the side of Death Blossom. Sure, you have only Omega back, and you got some percentage points for your trouble, but Cuddle Puddle will take that fight.
And yeah, this is a great recap here from Cuddle Puddle. They got 4 ultimates up in that economy bank against Death Blossom, which only have 3. So they're running up in the numbers at the moment. But the thing that's going to be interesting here is how Geo positions this Blade. And Blade will be popped from JML. No, Geo and JML, yes.
Yeah, and so now we're happy to see this go forward here. The Blade able to kill one onto the break here, but is still looking for more. Meanwhile, Brook actually turning it up with the Primal Raid. Sees Lucio in the small room, not able to escape. He's Rise, so it seems like things are going from bad to worse for the side of Death Blossom. Only Omega comes up with one onto the Tracer, but I'm sure that's just not going to be enough here, as the ball is now just choosing to stay on point when they need to run. They need to get a health back, finally out in time.
Yeah, Brook saying welcome to the jungle if you are playing the Winston at the moment. Cuddle Puddle still looking very good, executing with that orbital ray, but Infuse could just do something with it against Executing.
Yeah, and so now we're having to see how this minefield plays out, but already the Juno missing from the fight, a key factor in how these engagements have been going. Deadeye is able to pick up one onto the break here, but still a Juno in play for Cuddle Puddle, for not for long though, at the hands of JML, removing the Juno healing from the fight. So things are looking up for Death Blossom right now. They still have to convert and get the rest of these eliminations, but it should be in their favor. Dwindling health pools, nobody to really heal them means Geo is the first to fall. Brook actually being healed up by that bubble thanks to those lovely perks, but I think the Wizards are going to jump out and wait for the rest of the team.
Yeah, talking about perks, we get to see Rye here with that 15% boop, so that's great to boop people out of those scenario situations. Let's say if you're getting dove by Brook, that's fantastic. So Rye knows what they're doing, but Death Blossom getting a little low up in the air, I'd probably say.
Getting more than low, but we'll have to see how that is. And now you're seeing the Brig under pressure here, take a few rocks for the shield. Meanwhile, Rye will actually be the first one to fall at the hands of some Tracer play, and it will be a Juno on Juno violence here that is going the way of Cuddle Puddle right now. The Dragon Blade is going to be the exclamation point on top of this. The far the last one to touch here, but it is going to be in vain, as Cuddle Puddle are sending us to round number 3.
Yeah, and what a great secondary here from both of the teams. This has been very great action for us, at least. Very back-to-back, right? 50-50 scenario. You had one of the teams go from 70% to now that 99%. And Cuddle Puddle really proved their point there. They wanted to take that. And, yeah, they did a fantastic job with it. But here we go. We're up on the 3rd sector. And I believe, from our European cast, Mega, I believe this is Gardens, if I could remember. if I'm
Yes.
cooking.
Yeah.
All right.
Garden.
So this is Gardens and Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom still looking to be running out up on those Malka compositions. So I think they know what they're doing. They want to bring that aggression towards the A game.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this aggression wants to go now that both teams are back on the Malga. No dive in sight is going to certainly be a change of pace here. Still rocking with the May is Cuddle Puddle. Meanwhile, Death Blossoms, they're still opting in for the star up from JML to potentially be a difference maker. Now you're seeing Omega slam onto the high ground here. A little bit worse for wear, but the healing is there at least for the time being now, as both Malgas are simply fighting up on the point. It's going to be a bit of a knockdown to the low ground here. The Death Blossoms, they're holding the high ground, but the point is where you need to be. That's why you're seeing only Omega go aggressive. We've now flipped it a little bit. Accidentally JML pulling themselves into that one, but getting the kill nonetheless here. But the main thing is only Omega down once again here. So numbers advantage is going Cuddle Puddle's favor despite an early cap being in Death Blossom's name. They're just going to be throwing bodies at the point until it is all said and done for Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, and if you are JML, you got to be aware of Geo playing that Sojourn. You get picked up in the sky, that could be a turning point for the whole entire Cuddle Puddle to extinguish your side of Death Blossom. So you got to be extremely careful, right? But Deadeye, almost with his Pulse Bomb ready to go. Deadeye can hit a nasty Pulse Bomb, we do know that for sure. Was it crucial, though, up in that Map 2 sector? It could be more crucial here, though, because they're playing up in the corner spaces.
Yeah, and so now we'll have to see if playing there is going to be the safe play. Meanwhile, a little bit of fancy footwork is keeping Geo alive from the hands of only Omega right now. It's going to be a stomp on top of Battle Josh's head, but not before the numbers are already being traded the other way here. So only Omega going to be the only one left on the point. JML actually chooses to commit the barrage here. Finds one onto Brook, and they able to take Geo out of the fight. I'm not sure if that's the barrage you wanted, though. You were just down too many.
Quite interesting from the side of Death Blossom, and yeah, maybe it was a mistake from JML, but now you're able to get to see JML switch onto this Sojourn, so maybe this was the choice of making, but look at this, into Ryu popping the Blizzard.
Yeah, and so now that Blizzard's going to try to freeze everybody up, and Fuse Onion has taken out their opposite number, though, in the Juno battles that continue. It's going to be a cage fight on both sides now, creating a bit of a Venn diagram here on the point. Everybody trying to play around the center pillage and not get caught by anything. The wall is just not a success. That's the best way to put it. Doesn't come up with anything here. And so now, after 85%, or 83% rather, has been gained for Cuddle Puddle, Death Blossoms take control.
Yeah, so Death Blossom now sliding with this percentage up in their hands, and they don't have an ultimate up in their economy. But if we look up on that side of the Cuddle Puddle, we have 2 ultimates at our hands of economy-wise. So they could pop these ults to engage off of, probably Orbital Ray if I were to say anything, but Geo could take this high ground, and as we get to see, they are rotating.
Yeah, and so now already Geo going to work with the overclock, has already claimed 2 in the fight, looking for a third, is going to get it with a little bit of help here from the rest of the squad, and Cuddle Puddle back in control with one final fight to take the map.
Yeah, looking at that last fight, Geo did get that initial pick. Geo has been answering in those situations when needed, and the Ryu up on to JML. So without JML here, this is going to be very difficult for Death Blossom.
Very difficult is an understatement to be sure here. Now it's going to be a contest over to the cart. The Pulse Bomb ends up going wide from Deadeye. Geo on the cart now, trying to look and see what they can find in this one. Executi has already found one, though, and it's just going to be all Cuddle Puddle all the time right now. The break, the last member standing, and with the help from this Sojourn, is going to try to turn the tides of an impossible war, and Cuddle Puddle continue their domination and take the first map.
Cuddle Puddle very, very dominant there over Death Blossom. A well-done victory for them here up in our map 1. But now, if you are Death Blossom, you do have this next map. But let's take a look at Brook, right? Brook was phenomenal during this one against even JML up on that Genji. But something as well was Deadeye up on the side of that DPS line. Cuddle Puddle was always answering and communicating in those scenarios, and if I were to say anything, Mega, they were following every little opportunity for Finn. they read the scenario, but very, very close, very back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth affair. This shouldn't be how this match is going at all, right? I mean, Death Blossoms, they've been nothing short of dominant, but that is the first map they've lost all season long, and we'll have to see if that's something that shakes them, or if they're able to actually rally back behind it and realize, hey, listen, it's just one map. We have plenty more to go through here. They'll actually get a pretty healthy choice as well, being able to go anywhere in the game, of course, besides control. And, options like that again, it's going to be a very good test for Death Blossom here to see if they can, actually bounce back and have the mental needed to sort of take these high intensity matches.
Yeah, and maybe we'll be also able to see these bans come out from both of the teams. Something, though, that's going to be very interesting, though, Mega, is how they predict the bans, right? We got to see fantastic Reaper gameplay with the positioning of Reaper Blossoms, same as Pulse Bombs from Tracers. So looking at the two DPSs up in that line, I expect one or two of those getting banned throughout the series here. Now talking about supports, though, or tanks, Malga could be that considered ban. We got to see both of them run that up on our map one here of Oasis. But as we get word from Prod, we will be heading to New Queen Street. So more Brawl there, I very much expect. And yeah, Mega, what else do we got to say about New Queen Street?
New Queen Street, it's a push map based in Toronto, Canada. And there's, it's one of those things where if Malka bans end up coming through, it's not going to actually be that big of a deal. You generally like to see some comms that could control the high ground, like the dive. You think of Wrecking Ball when you think of this map a lot. Some people
Very
like
true.
to still run Brawl variants with like Reinhardt and things like that, but we'll have to see what heroes truly can be selected once we know who's been banned.
Yeah, and talking about bans, that is right up next. And Death Blossom, they will be selecting first. Now, if I were to say anything about this Death Blossom team, they can pick a great band here. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Malgi here, but seeing a different tank up in the band could just be an answer for them. Even a support, right? Taking out a speed pace like Juno or even Lucio. Something like that probably would be interesting to see. But Death Blossom, what are they going to choose? They're going to be choosing Brig. So, taking Brig out, you have not so much of dive, maybe? I don't know. Something like that.
Brig, yeah, it's a very interesting ban to say the least here. It could potentially be a move where you're not necessarily worried about removing Brig, but by banning support, you stop the other team from banning a support. In case you're trying to protect something. It's been a move that some teams have been opting to make, but ultimately, who really knows what the decision behind that? It could also be indicating potentially a Lucio Kiri thing. But regardless, Cuddle Puddle now has a chance to respond here, and they're going to be going over to the tank side to ban that infamous Wrecking Ball that you normally see on New Queen Street. So now we'll have to see what dive options these teams have in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, and talking about the Brig Death Blossom ban, that will, obviously, we will not be able to see that Juno or Brig backline, so stuff will need to change from both the sides. But looking at this Wrecking Ball ban come in, do I expect more Brawl? Do you expect more Brawl? Or do we get to see a different composition in between of these two teams? Because taking out that Wrecking Ball, as we get to see Brooke with that phenomenal Wrecking Ball icon there. It's interesting, but we get to see the side of Death Blossom. They're going to be bringing in two substitutions. We are going to be seeing Nax and Daddy up on the side of Death Blossom. So a little bit of interesting choices from them, but can these subs step up to the morale and find their way into a victorious pathway?
I mean, regardless of the substitutions, right? I think one of the main things that I want to see reined in on the side of Death Blossoms is this overall thing in fights that are clearly lost, right? Like, there's so many situations they found themselves like 2v4, 1v4, and they're still committing ultimates like it's going to change something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, being able to accept when a fight is lost, regrouping with your team, having that ultimate for that next engagement, can be an absolute difference maker, especially with how back and forth that control map was. So we'll have to see if this Death Blossom squad can learn that lesson quickly, or if they're going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and looking at these compositions here, Mega, no brawl in sight, but more of a rush pace comp coming out with both JQs up on both sides. But if you are Death Blossom, JML and Nax still running off on the side of that Pharah and Sojourn, so they want to stick to something that paces for themselves.
Yeah, and so now we have to see what they choose to go with here. You're seeing Nax on the Soj play a little bit distantly here as both teams are taking a fight over the high ground. A beautiful Jagged Blade lands into Nax to pull them forward here, and Brook smells the blood in the water, going to be able to walk forward, looking for another kill, isn't going to be able to come up with it, but meanwhile, I mean, that one pick is all you really need to start getting this bot moving in your favor. Looking for a bit more in the fight, though, as the Jungle Queen are now meeting in this stairwell. A nice swing from Carnage, but JML actually will find the first blood in this one on the far right here, and now Death Blossoms is starting to come alive. Infused Onion being a DPS on the Juno here. 15 meters, all Cuddle Puddle gets to the name.
Yeah, Death Blossom, they are now pushing this one back. It's now intriguing to watch because now we get to see Cuddle Puddle switching onto this Moira. So a little more of aggressiveness coming in from them. Can they find answers here? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there certainly are answers, but we'll have to see what these teams resort to for those answers working to the next fight, having to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more tedious, as Geo is going to find one onto Infused Onion. So again, that DPS Juno is taken out of the fight. Geo really stepping up massively here on the Genji. Now it's about cleaning up everybody else on the cart. It's just going to be the Junker Queen. Daddy okay. He's not okay. Far from, actually, as Cuddle Puddle gets back in control.
Yeah, so Death Blossom, they don't have an ultimate yet, but the closest one in that ultimate economy is Battle Josh up on the side of Cuddle Puddle. So you will have this Lucio ultimate very, very shortly, but the thing is, what are they going to use it for? JML is charging up that barrage. You also get to see Ryan here with almost that Coalescence ready to go. You're JML, you could just go off of a corner here and find some massive picks.
Yeah, and I mean, you could also just stay in place since you don't have the moving perk unlocked yet and find one onto Brook here. It is a heavy trade fight, though, back and forth. Now trying to find the pick onto Geo. Does ultimately get it, but not before the Genji traded out on the other side here. So while Death Blossoms technically won the fight, I'm not sure how much meterage they're actually going to get out of this.
Yeah, so Death Blossom, they have the sign of that JQ ultimate, right? Same with Rai ready to go with that Coalescence. And over to Ray trying to get charged up by Infuse. Now you got those three up in the factory line for Death Blossom, but can it be the one to find much? We do just got to see that Beat Matrix pop.
The Beat Matrix, a combo old as time itself here, and now there's going to be more cleanup with the Coalescence, though, from the side of Death Blossom. This is exactly the fight that they needed here, and Pandoryu is going to be able to get one for their trouble onto that pestering Moira, but now Death Blossom should be looking at the forward cap here.
Yeah, so Death Blossom, they're looking good right now. Only ultimate up in that bank is Infused Onion. Over to Ray, ready to go for them. But you're looking at Cuddle Puddle with 4 ultimates up online, and yeah, I like this decision from Death Blossom. They're backing up. They know the situation of what Cuddle Puddle has.
And so now they're having to be a little bit careful here. That Rampage goes through, connects onto several members. Brook really hits it exactly where it needs to go. And now it's just going to be some quick as-you-like cleanup here. The Pharah and Moira just simply staying on point as long as they can. But that's going to be Cuddle Puddle getting back on the clock.
Yeah, great purple there happening from that JQ ultimate. Cuddle Puddle now back up on, as you did just say, and they look very good with their ultimate economy here, Mega, against Death Blossom, which don't just have an ultimate just yet, but Geo, if they wanted to, they could go early around the outskirts, possibly this backline here.
Yeah, and they're going to go with the blade, but already Daddy Okay's been removed from the fight, so this blade is going to be the cherry on top as taking the Juno out. It's going to be a Coalescence invested as well, so Cuddle Puddle may be investing a few too many ults for what was a pretty soundly won fight, but the team kill gong certainly sounds satisfying.
Though, looking at it, Cuddle Puddle, they are going to be pushing this one to that mirage, but we get to see Death Blossom building back to it. They are going to have this bit of a high ground advantage, and especially with Nax popping this blade, could it find a little more for the Summit?
Yes, it does. It gets that one onto Brook here, and now Death Blossom realizes they probably don't need anything else. They do lose Nat in the fight, though, so it is going to be a contest here. As we're technically at a draw right now. The teams are 4v4 in the fight as well, but Geo is taken down, so now this should be sounding the retreat for Cuddle Puddle. They don't want to get staggered out any more than they already are. That's going to be the case.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't the first time we get to see a draw happen up on one of these maps, but JML ready to go with that barrage. It's gonna be something to place maybe around this opposition. Maybe if you're Brook here, you got to be aware of it, right? You don't want to outposition. You don't want to get too caught up in your head. But yeah, if you're Josh, you have this perfect ultimate to sustain.
Yeah, and so now that sustain is just not there in time to get Brook, but what is there in time is the rest of the team getting kill after kill. They do have the numbers advantage now. It's going to force Rye to invest the Coalescence here. Not going to come up with anything else but for Endorio, though. But Rye, meanwhile, gets 3 kills off that Coalescence to keep the fight going and actually officially get the lead for Death Blossom.
So Death Blossom running up in the lead here. If you are Danny, you got the JQ ultimate ready to go. Infused Onion trying to charge up that orbital ray. That's probably going to be next up for them. But Cuddle Puddle, look at that pulse bomb. Does it hit? No.
No pulse bomb, and so now that rampage is going to be permanent damage here because those antis able to find out onto Brook here. Endora who is able to get one onto the Juno here. Now it's going to be an app swing from Daddy Okay trying to take the Lucio out of the fight, looped away for the time being here. This ball being contested at the 84-meter mark, but finally I think Cuddle Puddle is realizing they need a potential slight recoup because they just keep trading. They're not actually getting a fight win either which way here, and the bot is just being contested by a Lucio who is not long for this work. Finally Battle Josh is taken out, and the rest of Cuddle Puddle seems to be hesitating, waiting.
Yeah, and look at Death Blossom. They are really pulling these numbers forward. They are at the 3-digit mark now for them. Sitting at 105, moving forward. Cuddle Puddle can do something, though. They got these ultimates. Executing might pop this Coalescence, or could we see? Yes, Brook is going to be able to answer.
Yeah, but I mean, that Rampage technically only connects on to 1, but thankfully the follow-up is there from the Coalescence and the rest of the team. So the Cuddle Puddle now finds themselves at a massive deficit.
Yeah, and was looking at Brook's ultimate, right? It only got little factor, so if you are Brook here, you might be a little disappointed about that, but you have Geo's ultimate, right? And Battle Josh's, which could just do more for the side of your guys' top. But Death Blossom ready to go with 2, and look at this, Geo ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the blade is going here, but it's going to be better on Nax's side of things, getting the numbers advantage still in Death Blossom's favor here, so everybody going to maintain those forward spawns, and this attack is going to keep on going.
Yeah, so Death Blossom still running it back towards this push here. They will have Rise Coalescence ready to go here very shortly, but is just trying to build up that JQ. As we got to see there, Pulse Bomb was thrown, didn't find much value. I think Endorio is having a little rough time.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough time is an understatement for sure here. The Scar accidentally pulling themselves in, another little misstep, but hey, if you're in the lead, it does not matter as much here. Death Blossom sent back to spawn.
Yeah, and it must have been if, you know, Endorio must have heard me, because Endorio answered, right? Got 2 picks there, so must be listening. But Death Blossom, if you're Ryan, you got this Coalescence ready to go, but up on the side of Cuddle, you also have the Coalescence. So, yeah, Ryan's just trying to get more aggressive.
Yeah, trying to get more aggressive now, trying to find what else they can. in the fight here. It is a pretty even one on the bot. This Junker Queen so incredibly low, needs all of the care in the world, and Brooks just not going to be able to get it in time here. Now Nax found a second one with onto Battle Josh here, and again, Death Blossom is just coming up in this center fight, winning exactly where they need to, and they're going to keep the bot in their favor.
Yeah, and Death Blossom, once again, still sitting at that 108. It's going to be a tough push for Cuddle Puddle if they get this bot back. Probably going to be up in that overtime push ticking. But yeah, Executi has his Coalescence ready to go. Brook is ready with theirs, and into Ryu just trying to build up that pulse. Stuff can work.
Stuff can work. We'll have to see. The Rampage comes through, connects onto several members, and that's going to be Brook gets all the healing in the world with the help of this Coalescence. But again, Cuddle Puddle has to throw in a lot here, but they finally do get that fight when they need. Now entering overtime is going to be the crucial thing.
Yeah, and look at this. Death Blossom just used 3 of their ultimates there, so a little costly from them, and they couldn't find what they needed to. Cuddle Puddle, though, they did use Coalescence and that JQ ult, but they have this Pulse Bomb ready to go. It's gonna need to be big.
Gonna need to be big, but already we're at a 4v4 engagement here. Of course, missing the Juno for Death Blossom is a little bit worse, but already now goes your Moira and your Juno. No healing on the side of Cuddle Puddle means that this is becoming nigh impossible for Cuddle Puddle to win, and that means Death Blossom is gonna be willing to tie us up one apiece here in the series.
Yeah, very great way of showing of Death Blossom. They kind of proved it a little dominantly, heading up into the 3-digit number scene. And Cuddle Puddle just sitting up into that halfway mark where the push bot gets activated to that other sector. But yeah, Brook did a great job. Otherwise, though, up on the side of Death Blossom, Danny as well did a fantastic job here, Mega. So will Danny keep on playing here? That could just be the answer to possibly more of their wins.
Could be the answer, but we have to sort of wait and see, because right now these teams are so evenly matched that it's intense. And so we're going to throw it to a quick break. On the other side of this break, though, you have the conclusion of this series one way or another. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome on back. Hopefully you went to the restroom, got yourself a snack, because we got a banger on our hands, tied up one apiece between Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom. So far, it's been a very intense series, to say the least, and it's just going to be the gift that keeps on giving as we head into map number 3.
Yeah, and map number 3, somebody will need to find another point because, hey, it's not match point yet. One of these teams are going to get another. But talking about it, we actually already have the bans from the sides of the teams. Well, matter of fact, no, sorry. Bans are going to be picked. I phrased that completely wrong. Yeah, so Cuddle Puddle is going to be choosing here, and if I were to say anything about it, they can pick a DPS here, maybe punish the side of, the opposing, or even a tank here, if I were to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of options, different things you can choose from, but we'll have to simply wait for our mysterious countdown timer to sort of tick itself down. And yeah, just overall enjoying the wait, because the wait will eventually end here. And surprise, surprise, it's a Junker Queen band. Oh, no, Juno. Teehee. They both start with J, same thing. But yeah, Juno band.
Alright, so Juno band coming out here, so you're taking out its supports, and now if you are Death Blossom, maybe you can find a answer. I still feel like there's going to be a hint of either a damage or DPS, but something that could be a little more beneficial in between the two of the teams is maybe just taking out a tank here. I think that is the high-key play style from both here. So will it be a tank here from Death Blossom? Let's take a look. Yes. Okay. So Ramatra. Okay. This is interesting. So you ban a Juno if you are Cuddle Puddle, and Ramatra if you are Death Blossom.
Yeah, probably just not wanting to deal with the Ram if you're the side of Death Blossom, which might indicate that we're going back over to the Mauga duel, which is interesting, right? Because we saw Alpha Map 1 that Cuddle Puddle was actually sort of able to come away with that Mauga duel in their favor. So maybe Death Blossoms either wants a rematch or they feel more confident in some other Brawl tanks and they simply want to take the Ramattra off the table. Regardless, I have an odd feeling we're going to be seeing some Lucios here, as anytime we need a speed boost, it's going to have to be Lucio because of the Juno ban.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Mauga composition goes pretty quick, right? But as we get to see substitutions coming in from both the sides, Pizza Bot is gonna be up in for the side of Cuddle, and up on the side of Death Blossom, they're gonna be bringing in Deadeye. So Deadeye is back up into the action, and this is kind of something that we got to see from Game 1, but Daddy still being up in here for that tank role.
Yeah, hey, listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And they looked a lot more confident, a lot more in control and calling with Daddy OK in the lineup, so you can't really question it too hard here. We'll have to see if that's a continued common trend. Now, whether it's intentional or not, both teams have walked out on the Reinhardt.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say that this Brawl tank has sort of fallen off compared to the others, but who knows? Maybe in a mirror matchup, it can certainly shine in a certain particular way.
Yeah, both of the teams running Reinhardt compositions, and Deadeye up on the Sim here. So if you're Deadeye, maybe you're trying to set up that Sim TP, possibly over up onto the side skirts to take that high ground, right? Or even if you're JML, you're able to play this high space. But yeah, if you're Death Blossom, you got Rai and Nex playing the Lucio Ana, so you gotta be a little careful. But both teams running the Sim.
Yeah, so then we'll have to see what else they want to run into. A good wall is going to be able to catch Daddy OK out. No follow-up is there to get the kill at the very least. JML still on this bar, still being a menace in the sky. But it'll actually be Pizza Bot who finds one onto a Symmetra, as well as the other Reinhardt going down in a bit of a trade of our favorite Crusaders here. And now Death Blossom is simply going to wait because they know they have the quicker respawns.
Yeah, so Death Blossom could definitely get back up into this one. First initial, not so bad. But Deadeye now up onto this Genji, but Geo is playing the Sojourn, so things can just.
Yeah, things can just keep on going. Battle Drop is going to be able to find JML maybe a little too low on the ground here. Now Pizza Bot already has a Shatter online, chooses to drop it directly onto the head of the Lucio here. Not able to actually convert the kill off of it though. Now Daddy OK going to fall at the hands of a railgun. A deflect though is going to take Geo out of the fight here, but it still seems like it's favoring Cuddle Puddle even with Pizza Bot being so incredibly low.
Yeah, and Endo Ryu able to find two there up onto Rai and as well Deadeye. Great job there from Cuddle Puddle up on their defense here against Death Blossom. And ultimates up on both sides coming up, so both teams got something to fight for.
For something to do. Now the pin onto the ground here from both Ryans means that Daddy OK is going to be followed up on. It seems like Geo has just been in the right place at the right time and again with these Sojourn rails doing what's needed here. The rest of Death Blossom not wanting to get staggered, running for the hills.
Yeah, and Death Blossom ready to go with that Shatter, and Ryan just trying to build up at support, but very good stuff.
Massive Shatter going to be able to connect and open this wide right now for Death Blossoms. The Nano Boost does come out onto Pizza Bot, who with nobody else to help the Reinhardt. It's just going to be some swinging at the fences quite literally here as Death Blossom finally gets the point unlocked.
Yeah, Death Blossom sitting good here with 3 of their ultimates ready to go. JML still just trying to charge up theirs, but yeah, Shatter was used there up in that last fight, and that was a great initial from the side of Death Blossom. But 3 ultimates to use. If I were to say anything, they could just Nano Blade this. That's probably their only win con into the scenario of the Blizzard.
And so we'll have to see how that win con pans out for them. Cuddle Puddle now still going to have to find a good hold here in the arches. Death Blossom is going forward with the Nano Blade though. Going to swing back and forth the sound barrier for extra care. The Blizzard not going to be able to stop those slashes and dashes. Deadeye finally finds 2 at the very tail end of it here. And some quick follow-up is going to make sure that nobody from Cuddle Puddle escapes.
Yeah, so Death Blossom working their way forward here. Wonderful team kill from them, finding more and more. And they used 3 ultimates there, so a little costly from Death Blossom. But look at Cuddle Puddle. You got this Shatter and the Sojourn ready to go. So 2 up on the line, but JML can do the same against GFL.
Yeah, and so now we'll have to see what they can find. The overcost being popped from JML here, trying to be a bit of a difference maker. So hits 1 rail into the Soj, but not a second yet to connect with the elimination. Now a Shatter comes through, sums up 2 members on the side of Cuddle Puddle, but a Shatter back hits 3. Daddy OK going to be the first to fall this May. Getting all of the credit with these hammer swings helping, I'm sure. Gio's also going to fire off some rails just to try to make this one clean, just because it's getting a little bit too close. I mean, this Genji is still alive. You want to get Deadeye out of the fight, and it will do just that.
So Cuddle Puddle doing a great job here defending this one against Death Blossom, which looked pretty dominant up going into that one forward. But now you're looking at Deadeye with a blade possibly to come, but Cuddle Puddle ready to go with their support.
More than ready to go. They're eager. They're waiting. Cuddle Puddle now is going to try to hold this one. A beautiful nano onto the Reinhardt, but it's slept. It catches every CC you could ever hope for, and then something. The nano ultimately goes to waste with Cuddle Puddle not getting much damage out of it. A beautiful anti-nade onto 3 members of Death Blossom is going to stall them for the time being here. But now they're ready to re-engage, looking for something in this fight. It could potentially be another Nano Blade combo as they're coming up on it here. Sound Barrier from Battle Dust might have to be the pivotal thing as the Rhine Pin comes through, but it's canceled out. Now there's the beat in the face of the Nano Blade, trying to find 1 kill out of it. They get Pizza Bot out of the fight. They need to do a little bit more, and that is the little bit more needed. Death Blossom now converting the rest of these kills, and this should be point B.
Yeah, Death Blossom looking their way to cap this second one, and they definitely do it here. So they're working with 2 minutes and 40 against Cuddle Puddle, which don't have the just ultimate economy just so yet. Battle Josh did use that beat there up in the last fight, but oh, what a fantastic shatter.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, this Shatter, that should have been blocked, but Pizza Bot probably just didn't see it coming, and it's going to put all 3 members that were there on their backs. Execute, he sent to the spawn as well as the payload moving.
So Cuddle Puddle with Ender Ryu can do something with that blistered, but Pizza Bot can answer back with a Shatter upcoming. But Death Blossom ready to go.
Ready to go. The Blizzard is out now, though, for Endoryu. Is trying to get a massive freeze and does just that. Kills 2 members now. Realizing the Reinhardt may be a little bit isolated, Daddy OK is going to go down at the hands of Gio while the rest of the team escapes.
Yeah, and I like the decision of Death Blossom backing up here, not wasting GML's ultimate, but you gotta be aware of Pizza Bot. Pizza Bot has his Shatter, which can be used constantly, just depending upon how they precise it, but this could be extremely big.
It can be, but the question is it that boot? Makes it so it's not big, tries to switch over to the Reinhardt, but that pin gets him out of the way just in time. Now JML got 1 with the railgun, make it 2! Looking for more firing into the shield time, and again here, they're not able to connect those rails just yet. Finally gets another one onto the head of Executing. We've already nano boosted Pizza Bot in this fight, and it seems like that nano's going to go to waste. Even though you get 1 kill for it, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, JML really finding every opportunity there to take elimination after elimination, and Death Blossom looking extremely good up on this final push here to cap Deadeye though.
Deadeye with the Nano Blade out now, slashing and dashing into the backline. Not able to come up with a kill just yet here. Trying to see if they can focus the Mei out of this cryo freeze. They are able to do it with the help of a Wrecking Ball roll through. Now Gio trying to fire off some rails, gets 1 onto JML before ultimately falling down. Now the sound barrier doesn't matter when you're booped off the map. The circles being spun by the hamster will be heard around the world. But Battle Justice managed to get 1 onto the Ana, but now it is just stall attempts coming out from Cuddle Puddle. This sound barrier is going to keep everybody on the payload nice and healthy for Death Blossom as they continue to try to get this cap, and they do it with extra 12 seconds in the bay.
I saw the Rhine get slept and hit off by a wrecking ball. That was insane of, you know, a final finish there up in the King's Row attack phase for the side of Death Blossom. But, not too bad from the side of Cuddle Puddle, right? They really put up a fight. They eliminated that time bank, which looked to be a great number with Death Blossom heading up into that attacking phase of the first point sector. But Cuddle Puddle, now you are setting your foot ahead of this Death Blossom team. You got your attacking phase, and stuff can definitely change here depending up on the composition that they run. It is King's Row. People love scrimming this map. But I wouldn't be surprised here, Mega, if we were able to see more of the Rhine come out. I feel like both of the tanks buried very great shatters in between those corners, or even, you know, those scenario midway opportunity long ways.
I mean, yeah, there's tons of opportunity for Reinhardt on King's Row. It's almost like the map was built for him or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, though, I mean, you got to look at the rest of the composition as well, right? Death Blossoms were doing a lot of Nano Blade combos. And I feel like as the map went on, Cuddle Puddle was actually being able to respond rather well. That's why you're not seeing the Genji to start here. Any other observations you think you see?
Well, as we get to see, Death Blossom running a little bit more of a poke with GML up onto Ashe, so you're able to play around these corners. But look at Cuddle Puddle. They are pushing a full rotation, and Geo is up onto that sim. So, wow, they are just able to take that upper.
Yeah, and so now they have control of the high ground. The question is, what are you going to do with the high ground? You have a lot of close-range characters that don't want to be too far from the fight with the Symmetra and May, of course. Could be potentially a good space to lead your Ana here, as Chio incredibly low with a few Ana shots, has to be careful. We've now flipped the map. Defenders have become attackers and vice versa. Now, again, it's all about keeping this Ana alive. But now it's just going to be the 5v5 on the point here, and it's going to be actually a tick given over. Death Blossom's not able to do anything just yet here. It's going to be a biotic grenade thrown on to Daddy, okay? Try to keep them alive. It's going to be some arrow swings with a frustrated shield being held up. A beautiful sleep. That was onto both Reinhardts now, and that pin is finally going to connect. Meanwhile, the whole time, the point's been capping behind them, and Cuddle Puddle, they get the first cap.
Yeah, Cuddle Puddle running good with a lot of number. 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Battle Josh there up in the kill feed. I believe got 2 or 3. But now you're able to see Death Blossom up on the side with JML switching over to that Pharah, which we did get to see before. And also Wrecking Ball coming out too from Death Blossom. So different opportunities can be taken from this Death Blossom side against the 4 minutes and 50 of Cuddle Puddle.
And so we will have to see who can come up with these opportunities. The slam through comes on the Wrecking Ball. Daddy, okay, not going to be able to find anything off that, so just chooses to roll for the hills. Not given that option with a nice little May wall. So now it's going to be a bit of a reset for the ball, but it's going to be on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Deadeye has that one on to Geo here, so already the defender's in a much better spot. Make that even greater as the follow-up from the poke comp is there, and now this honor should not be long for this world.
Yeah, and Death Blossom able to find another onto Executing there, catching them into that little corner space. But yeah, Death Blossom, they got these ultimates coming up. They're gonna be looking good up in numbers for their economy, but a little bit of a spam coming from JML, maybe just a little more pressure. But Pizza Bot able to switch onto the Diva. Now this is interesting. This is gonna shift the game a little more. Now you got Defense Matrix, which you can pressure that barrage from JML and really don't gotta worry.
Yeah, you don't have to worry at all here, as the JML is just going to be firing rocket after rocket here. The Sluts Wrecking Ball somewhere in the back line is just going to be a little bit sad. So now Ultimate's going to start to be expended here. The Kitsune Rush from Nax, the first one to come now. A Pulse Bomb is going to be beautiful with no cryo to hide inside of. JML has to be careful. Their life is going to be taken, but still, it's a resounding Death Blossom fight.
Yeah, Death Blossom doing everything that they can here to take this one. And yeah, JML still has this barrage. You get to see Denny okay with the mines almost ready to go, but as well, right with this Nano. So 3 ultimates up on the side of Death Blossom, but Cuddle Puddle still sitting good with their support ultimates ready to go. So they both got factors heading up into this next fight. Looking into it, though, Death Blossom has more.
Yeah, Death Blossom has more to work with here, but we'll have to see how much more it really can be. The Wrecking Ball rolls through, especially with the help of a Nano actually be coming through onto the Diva on the other side here. It's going to be incredible. Now the Barrage is running forward with the Barrage directly into a defense matrix. And it's just not going to be anything but the Minefield actually catches the Sombra despite trying to hack the ball out of him. Just still lingering in wait, ready to take that Sombra out exactly when it needs to. Daddy OK, so incredibly low, is able to get out to their supports for the time being. And now JML trying to get an extra rocket landed onto the Lucio. Doesn't actually convert into an elimination. And now, oh no, the JML, the tragedy of Bara.
Yes, JML getting caught into that one, but enter Ryu. I like the choice of playing Sombra into the ball. You could definitely stop this ball getting very aggressive against you, and I think this is a great choice for Cuddle Puddle. But with them moving forward here, the hack up onto Daddy is good.
Yeah, and so now we'll have to see how this is going to continue to go for Cuddle Puddle as they unlock Point C here, which is a cleanup fight. Quick as you like, exactly how it should go.
Yeah, so Daddy OK is going to be switching over up onto that Diva, just trying to match Pizza there with that tempo, but as well, JML and Executie switching to other heroes. So we got multiple selection, multiple perk, rebuilding, but Deadeye ready to go with this Pulse Bomb. They did cap 12 seconds for their attack. Can they find some with this Pulse?
Yeah, we'll have to sort of see how this goes with the Pulse Bomb here, as now the fight is getting a little bit more chaotic. Control over high and low ground alike is sort of determining how this is going to go here. Geo has a Dragon Blade, could be waiting to combo it with the EMP, instead just gets into the backline here and finds one onto Nax, making a second onto Deadeye here. A third for the Genji player, cleaning it up, and now it's just going to be a Diva trying to stall out Cart in the Kitsune Rush as long as they can.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Geo, fantastic and phenomenal up on to that Genji, and 2 minutes heading into that almost final capture area. And if you are Death Blossom, you only got 2 ultimates, but a good hack up onto Daddy OK.
Yeah, and so now already missing the mech is Daddy OK, but the Deadeye is going to be able to use the Pulse Bomb. Bit of a confusing one, and nobody's able to touch the car, so Cuddle Puddle has 2.5 minutes in the bank.
So, Cuddle Puddle looking good with the numbers at the moment, but phenomenal work with ults from both of the sides there in the final minutes of push. But yeah, we got to see from both sides. Zenai with a nice pulse, Cuddle Puddle with some great ultimates too, especially Geo coordinating very well and good with their side. So looking at this, you're going to have a 3-3 situation. You're going to have more rounds in this King's Row. I expect this to still be challenging in between both of the teams. Maybe they can run the same thing that they have been running, but I expect both of the teams to pick something that has been working for them throughout the series.
We'll have to see what that something can be. Death Blossom only a minute to their name here. They've got to be able to figure something out in that minute. Otherwise, they're looking down the barrel of a best-case scenario draw. And don't get me wrong, I love Overwatch as much as the next person, but I think if I see a draw today, I might just lose my mind, so to speak. But it just means more entertainment. We're seeing Cuddle Puddle already start on the Diva here, possibly anticipating the ball.
Yeah, so if you are Cuddle Puddle, like how you said, Pizza Ball is going to be playing this Diva, and you look at Death Blossom, they only have a minute against the Cuddle Puddle, so they need to be as quick as they can.
Quick as they can, but without making mistakes. It's going to be a tricky tightrope to navigate, but we'll have to see if they can do it. Remember, everybody is going to have those tier 3 perks online and ready to go already in overtime rounds here. Now it is going to be Pizza Bot who's caught out here. That mech is not going to be long for this world, and that's a phenomenal start for Death Blossom here, being able to remove the tank from the fight, but not as phenomenal is the Mei, catching an Icicle directly into Rye's head, so missing your Ana now gives you only 20 seconds if you wanted to wait this one out. The Lucio pulled to the ground here, but it's actually going to mean JML is the one who's caught out by it. Absolute tragedy here, as it is still a back and forth affair, but Cuddle Puddle seem to be holding strong, allows Pizza Bot to get back in the mech here, trading out of the Lucios here as 3 seconds are left on the clock. The overtime win is going to have to start to burn. People are going to have to stay on top of this objective, trying to build up to these ultimates. Daddy OK gets the kill onto the Kiriko, now 98% to a minefield that sure would go a long way in securing this first point, but might not even be needed as JML, the hero that this team may deserve and may need in these trying times, the absolute cleanup of Afara, as Death Blossom's gonna be able to get the cart moving.
Yeah, and this is something that they definitely needed here, Mega. JML were finding those answers, and everything went very well for them. Death Blossom looking good in the ult economy against Cuddle Puddle. Not so much up on the side of Cuddle Puddle just yet, but Death Blossom, they got mines, they got Barrage, Deadeye with the pulse. We know what Deadeye could do, especially against the side of Cuddle.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how this Pulse one can come up massively once again here. Cuddle Puddle, depending on how they want to invest this, it's going to be a minefield. Plus the bomb on cart here. Somebody's got to be able to stay in range. Oh, that was almost a devastating remake, but luckily JML lands the rocket in what could have been a frame perfect nick of time here. And Cuddle Puddle is going to be sent back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it would have been everyone there if they were able to get that remake up into that one. But Deadeye able to find a answer up onto Executing. But look at the hack up into that one. But a wonderful pick up onto Battle Josh and just take the Lucio out. So no support line just so yet for the Cuddle Puddle. But they do have 2 supports ready to go with their ults.
Yeah, and it's just getting a snowball of ultimates right now for the side of Death Blossom. Cuddle Puddle at least starting to make ground, like you said, having both support ultimates now themselves. That pulse bomb ends up going wide, not connecting onto anybody just yet, as the moving barrage from JML is able to take out the Diva mech, but so incredibly low is JML. Actually gets the sound barrier in the nick of time here. Absolutely what you love to see. Now this Dragon Blade trying to look for kills. It's going to be JML first, now trying to find one onto the Ana. Doesn't actually come up with that kill, so now having to be incredibly careful, but Deadeye is cleaning up the fight here. It's even trades back and forth. Now trying to focus onto the Kiri, who has the Swift Step ability available and ready to go. Now it is this Sombra versus the Wrecking Ball, and the Tracer is going to choose the EMP this, thinking it's winnable, and it just might be. It's already killed Deadeye. Daddy OK with a sliver of HP contesting the cart, but that sliver is going to expire, and Death Blossom's going to have to be satisfied with that progress.
Yeah, Death Blossom sitting at a 103, almost had 2 there to make it 5. But yeah, wonderful push from them. They worked very good and well with that minute that they had against Cuddle Puddle. But now we got Cuddle Puddle with 2 minutes and 30 seconds basically, right? 2:29 up on the clock for them. And I feel like they could definitely push this their way, but there were so many times up in those fight scenarios that it looked so close, but Deadeye was able to get picks, right? And even Daddy OK was able to find answers too. So both of the teams have these key players to make stuff happen, but I still expect this to be really much of a struggle for the side of Cuddle Puddle. I think Death Blossom can hold this.
Anything is possible, that is for certain here, but all we can guarantee right now is that 2 minutes and 29 seconds bar some overtime is all that stands left here on King's Row. Both these teams have been so evenly matched that extra innings are just fitting for them right now. And so far with the comps being hovered, what do you make of these adaptations?
Yeah, so both teams running a Diva type composition. They want to go quick in these scenarios, and they both are running Sojourn for this bit of a side angle comp. So I like what they're running, but you see one of the teams running an Ana, so they could hit Antis off.
Antis off, going to be crucial here, especially now that Death Blossom is in this defensive positioning here. Daddy OK is going to find one onto that Sombra though, so already being able to deal with the Sombra menace that Andioru has become is a good adaptation here, but they need a little bit more. They're trying to focus fire onto the Baptiste, and just like that, knocked through the sky. It means that the defense should be holding for quite a while now, as they're just getting everybody to run for the hills.
Yeah, and they are still definitely working with that level 3 perk line. Both of the teams here up in our overtime of King's Row. But yeah, wonderful and phenomenal work here of Death Blossom to hold this side of Cuddle Puddle. You look at Cuddle Puddle though, can they get back up into this one? Yes, they just need to find some pick off of the side of Death Blossom. Maybe Danny OK could get out of mech here if they press.
We'll have to see where this opening lies. Right now it is in a May wall, so having to be a little bit careful. Is a Pizza Bot, that mech incredibly low, is going to force the cleansing Suzu out just to keep Pizza Bot alive. It's not going to keep the mech intact though for long. That healing isn't there. The baby diva is alive, at least for the time being, but you've already burned off a ton of time from your bank here. You can't be wasting more waiting for a mech.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Cuddle Puddle still ready to go with Geo and Battle Charge. Almost with this window and executing, but look at that. A little bit of a dangerous remake there happening.
Yeah, and already Battle Josh has been removed from the fight, so that Baptiste healing is no more. Cuddle Puddle really is struggling to do anything on this attack. A Kitsune Rush now wasted here as Cuddle Puddle realizes they have to regroup for what is going to be their final fight.
Yeah, Death Blossom ready to go with this bomb, but it's well Cuddle Puddle. Oh, this is interesting.
We wasted sound barrier. Nax, I don't know if that was a fat finger or an overconfidence or what. Now that blood has been smelled in the water, the wasted ult means that Cuddle Puddle's going to move forward here. Pizza Bot with the help of these railguns being fired off by Geo, able to get pick after pick, and now the Blizzard being committed after it's already lost, trying to cue something with the bomb. I mean, I appreciate the effort here, but realistically, what is a single May going to do? JML, again, might be able to do a lot with the help of this Diva, and now the respawns are coming through in time, doing exactly what they can. The kill after kill, as it is a bit of May on May violence, but now the railgun being fired from Deadeye directly into Execute's head. The May is the next to fall. Now it is just going to be a Diva on point, but this mech cannot last forever. Pizza Bot shot out of it damn near immediately. Lucio now trying to touch on the point, desperately trying to keep Cuddle Puddle in this map, but it seems like it's only in desperation as Death Blossom holds and moves themselves to match point.
So, Death Blossom now at match point, like how you just quoted, and yeah, they did a phenomenal job there. Danny OK able to communicate well with the May, which was GML. I almost said JBL. I was thinking of the brand. But yeah, Death Blossom looking phenomenal here. I love what they have been bringing out with their aggression. Same as Deadeye too, right? Deadeye has been nasty with those ultimates. There has been such a phenomenal work and excitement in this whole entire match that it is so intriguing to watch. But yeah, 1-2, Death Blossom up. Cuddle Puddle can definitely still find their way up into this one. They just got to win this next one.
Yeah, win the next one, playing incredibly close here, but just overall, these teams, it's been such an amazing match. You would think it's a grand final, but no, it's only the semis, both vying for a spot in that grand final for the mid-season tournament here in the NA Diamond tier. And as we get everything set up, we just have to sort of think to ourselves, right? Cuddle Puddle now has control. They can either choose to go, I believe all that's going to be left is either Escort or Flashpoint. Flashpoint, a little bit risky, a little bit more fast-paced, could be just the ticket they need if they want to up the tempo and change the game.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Genji might just get banned from one of the sides here, or maybe another DPS like Sojourn. There was a lot of factors going in between for them, but I could also see a tank ban happening. But yeah, next map, that's going to be intriguing to watch. It's obviously different variety of compositions for both of the teams, so the action should definitely still be packed. But yeah, Mega, Death Blossom still leading. They have such a great run with this lineup. I was very impressed of what I got to see, at least. Deadeye hitting some phenomenal pulse bombs there, but either way, if they lose those battles, they find answers, which is just phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, like it truly is phenomenal to see when you've got this great talent just going at it time and again here. But, you know, it is just sort of the name of the game right now. We are simply lying in wait to see what these teams have to decide. Of course, it's very important decisions. So, you know, they're trying to make sure they cross their T's and dot their I's. They certainly don't want to leave the midseason because they forgot to double check something real quick. But seems like the magical voice in our head has gifted us the knowledge that we are heading on over to Flashpoint.
So, Flashpoint is chosen here, and the map selection of Flashpoint will be Suravasa in this series. Death Blossom leading 2-1. Cuddle Puddle needs to find an answer here. Talking about what they could do, I still feel like we're able to see a lot of brawl here. Maybe Rush could be seen too. That's something that we got to see up on New Queen Street where JQs were used. So I wouldn't be surprised here if they were both able to pop this JQ composition back and forth to each other. But Malga can also be seen.
Yeah, Malga can be seen unless, of course, the Malga ban finally comes through now, right? We think back to last map, both the Juno and Ramadra bans. It made one team just opt into not playing Speed even, simply because Lucio was just the only option and maybe just not as comfortable on the Lucio. But it's just sort of a time will tell situation here as we're just simply waiting again for teams to fully select. But like you were saying, Suravasa, it always has leaned itself to Malka compositions, even in the times where Malka wasn't the most favored. It just seems like he can run amok on all these points perfectly.
Yeah, and I feel like looking at it, this is just great either way. You know, I actually have a question for you, Mega. What is your favorite thing about Suravasa?
That's the craziest question I've ever been asked.
I know. It's wild.
I
Yeah.
enjoy that the coach for one of the teams I'm currently on, instead of calling the maps, the different points by their point name, he simply calls them by colors. So, like, instead of ruins, he'll
Oh,
be like,
really?
he'll be like, yeah, that's orange. This is what you need to do for orange. Or when we go to, when you go to Palace and things like that, it's just like, yeah, that's blue. That's not Palace, that's just blue.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I didn't even realize they do all have a different primary color scheme. So that's just an interesting fun fact for you.
Oh, wow, that is crazy. Well, thanks for telling me that. But something that we just got word from Prod is our bans coming up here. Whether to say which is going to be choosing the better one. Cuddle Puddle needs to do something against the side of Death Blossom. They are running a low in that score line. They need a point to equalize. Looking at the ban selection here, well, a lot of supports were targeted, right? Not so much up on the DPS. Will this be a pick of DPS? I could see it happening, but as well, Tank could also be selected.
Tank can be selected, and it's simply sort of biding our time. But the Magic Countdown has decided that Cuddle Puddle are tired of JML on the farm. They do not want to look in the sky anymore. And honestly, after 3 maps of it, I can't blame them. Can't blame them in the slightest.
Yeah, JML working very good with the Pharah. I like the little perk that Pharah now has. It's not like where you have to stay up in air with Barrage and don't gotta worry about, standing still, but you're able to move around now with that. So, don't need to worry of a Pharah, but Death Blossom now, they are choosing. I could see a support here coming out, maybe a Lucio getting taken out or a Kiri. Let's see what happens here.
We'll have to see, but the Magic Countdown says Lucio ban, so we've gone from banning one type of speed to the other here, so potentially Death Blossom revealing their hand a little bit, realizing that they want the Juno back in play. Just because, Lucio, or not Lucio, but just speed in general is a requirement for either of the Flashpoint maps to be able to get between the points very smoothly and in a way that's not going to delay you and potentially lose you fights with how fast these points tick up. Speed is just going to be the name of the game, so I'm expecting both teams to at least run the Juno.
Yeah, and this is something that you did quote before heading up in, if it was taking out a Lucio or taking out a Juno. It's very now precise for both of the teams, because now we get to see substitutions all across the board. So 2 substitutions coming in from Cuddle Puddle. They need to get something working for them. They are heading against a team that is up on match point and could be deadly, especially with the name Death Blossom in the name. Substitutions, though, Brooke and Chris up on the side of Cuddle Puddle, but Death Blossom. Nax is back up in, subbing it back. And, yeah, Mega, Death Blossom looking to end this one. Cuddle Puddle needs something to stay up in.
Yeah, trying to stay in it is going to be what they're hoping for here. But as we get into the map, you can tell that Orange is not the observer because we did not immediately get a pigeon cam. Like to give a big shout out to that. That's a telltale. In case you're ever wondering, if there's a pigeon cam, 9 out of 10 chance that it is Orange, the one observing it. But currently in the spawn room, we don't have the Malgamir we were expecting.
Yeah, we do get to see this, composition vary from both of the sides. I was kind of correct about Death Blossom running the JQ, so hey, I got a point. But yeah, Cuddle Puddle bringing out Malga, so a little too different coming out from both the sides. If you're Cuddle Puddle though, and if you're into Rio, you're gonna be there first because you're able to take this TP, and now you're able to switch to a Sombra. This is very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. We'll have to see how these hacks work out in the fight. Death Blossom, though, with the Junker Queen, much more simple. They're just going to engage with their shout, try to run at the back line and ignore the Malga as best they can. And they're doing a pretty damn good job of it. As you see, Chris already removed from the fight here. Deadeye has found that Sombra. No real menacing hacks coming through just yet. That Genji not long for this world either here. So as the Malga runs away, Death Blossom gets the first cap.
Yeah, Death Blossom, they are going to be able to capture this as we get to see there. And Cuddle Puddle, they just need to regroup back up in this one. They need to kind of rethink a plan here. Maybe they can go from this corner, but it could be a little deadly because Death Blossom is there to answer.
There to answer indeed, trying to collapse onto this team. Everybody staying alive for the time being here, but that is not a long time as Deadeye you're seeing on this Tracer. Absolutely cleaning up the fight. The Malga now running forward. Brook is able to get 2 in the fight here, trying to turn tides, but you are just a lone Malga against the world right now. But Cardiac Overdrive is going to make sure that you feel nice and healthy about it. So this Malga is turning the tides now, establishing himself on the objective, making it impossible to try and remove Brook here. Now it's just going to be people sagging themselves out, and Cuddle Puddle, off the hands of an incredible Malga play from Brook, is going to be able to flip the point.
Yeah, they're running the Malga very, very well here, but look at that percentage now getting taken over. But Death Blossom, they were able to get 85 there, and they have Deadeye's Pulse. You even have this Coalescence almost ready to go up on the side of Death Blossom too. So you got 2 ultimates to work with, which could just be popped here with Connect Factor,
and now they just are going to be the cage fight, going to be able to keep everybody caged up. They're trying to heal with the Coalescence, but the issue is with the Coalescence, you're stuck in the cage as well, and it just does not matter here. So good cleanup now coming through on the side of Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, I lost a little words there. Cuddle Puddle doing a great job with cage. But yeah, Geo, ready to go with that Blade, but as well Chris, right? So Orbital Ray and Blade ready to go. And Ryu, though, with this EMP, that could be a factor for Death Blossom to be a little scared about, especially when a cancel of an ultimate can happen.
Yeah, and just having to be wary is the name of the game. The Orbital Ray now comes out with the help of a Blade. Deadeye is going to find one onto Chris, though, and this Blade is going to be sent running as Death Blossom actually made their way all the way to point and even flipped the objective here. A few slashes into Daddy. Okay, is meaning that the Junker Queen has to back up for the time being, but they're not going to be allowed to with an EMP plus a Malga Slam going to remove them from the fight. So just as quick as it flipped, it's now going to start heading back in the other way, and it seems like Cuddle Puddle, barring a miracle from Deadeye, is going to be able to take market.
So, Cuddle Puddle able to take this one. They're going to have one over to Death Blossom right now up in Surabasa. But looking at this ultimate economy, not so much favoring Cuddle Puddle heading up into this next sector. Yeah, I think Death Blossom have that over advantage here, especially with the 3 that they have. They could look for an engage of Orbital Ray, or even Daddy OK could just walk right up in with the JQ ult.
Yeah, and so now we are having, to see how the JQ ult is going to go. It only catches onto 2 members here. The cleanse is there for the Malga, but not for Chris. The Juno is just going to have to live with that anti until he cannot any longer here. Junker Queen now walking forward with a little bit of confidence, but the Juno's actually traded on the other side, which would be amazing if it weren't for the fact that Brook just went down. The Malga is just mortal finally, and it will be another first cap going the way of Death Blossom.
Yeah, still a lot to fight here. Danny O'Kane is trying to get another one, but look at the carry. This is a little very unfortunate for that carry kill, but executing. Only get taken out by JML. So JML has Blade, and JML once again with another answer.
Another answer, but now maybe a little too far forward. That dash is going to create an opening here. It's a 3v3 situation, but the fight isn't over to the point, so Brook, incredibly low, has to wait for those supports to respawn. Finally, that healing comes through, and that means the Malga is good to go. Charges forward, doesn't find any kills just yet. Infused Onion in the wrong place at the wrong time, and this is going to be a flip in the favor of Cuddle Puddle after a costly mistake from Deathlock.
So you're looking at Cuddle Puddle up in that ultimate economy. They don't have as much as what Death Blossom has. Death Blossom has 4 against Cuddle Puddle, and if you're Cuddle Puddle, you're looking at 3, I'd probably say, maybe 2 heading up into this. But yeah, they got a long ways to go. They gotta build their way back up into this one, but the pressure from Deadeye here could just be a little deadly.
A little deadly, more like a lot deadly. The Dragon Blade calls through, is able to find both supports, and now the Cuddle Puddle just cutting and dicing everybody to pieces here to keep their control of point.
Yeah, Geo really slicing their way through there, but they got to be aware. There is another Genji up on that playing field, and it's up on the side of Death Blossom. JML can't do something with that blade. Will they get the dash in and some initial picks? Let's kind of see what happens here. Deadeye as well could pop the pulse, but what an EMP.
An EMP to try and turn the tides, but already people are missing from this engagement here. It's going to be a Kitsune rush from Executing, but it seems like the Malga, unless there's going to be another hero moment for Brook here, this is simply a foregone conclusion of this point flipping back over in Death Blossom's favor at the help of those support.
So this is very good for Death Blossom. Now you're able to build this one back up. Maybe you'll be able to equivalent that score line to possibly 1-1. But yeah, Cuddle Puddle. Oh, wait, did we just see that happen? Deadeye able to get Chris up in midair? Okay.
Hey, listen, the pulse bomb, it sticks no matter where you are in the elevation, and I think that was just a grim reminder of that for Chris, so not even going to be able to contest for the final moment here. Death Blossom now tie us up 1 apiece, and it seems like we're heading over to Palace.
Yeah, so Palace is up next here. JML still ready to go with this blade. We can see Infused Onion pop a speed ring maybe for JML to get more forward pressure up on the side of Cuddle Puddle, but they need to be aware Chris has this orbital ray ready to go. And Daddy OK though, still ready with that initial ultimate that could just lower their team too. So a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to use here. JML now going to be missing from the fight. Rai getting a little bit aggro on this Moira before finally being cut down, but Death Blossom in the late fight is coming up massively here. The Juno trying to live for so incredibly long. Passes a shuriken to the face, and not much longer after that Brook is down, but now it is just Geo, the lone person getting the kill onto the Jungle Queen is massive, because now it is just a Tracer left here, but there's just not a lot you can do against the Tracer, and with the reinforcements, Death Blossom get another first cap.
Yeah, Geo was extremely low there. I wasn't expecting Geo to take that one, but Cuddle Puddle, they are now looking great up in this ultimate economy. Geo is almost going to have this blade, but as well, if you're Brook, you're going to have this cage fight. So if Brook wanted to, they could position off of a corner outskirt, maybe take that left side, position off the mid, go up in with that cage fight, and surprise the Death Blossom team.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if those surprises are going to be the option here. Brook now trying to play from the high ground, but already Executing is missing from the fight. But I guess Brook is more than happy to trade it out and commit into this now with no supports alive. Using the cage fight almost as like a shield to just do damage outside of it. The pulse ends up just connecting with that cage. I mean, again, interesting way to use the cage fight there, but it gets the job done. And I believe that was a somber healing hack that just went out onto Brook.
Yeah, and I like what Death Blossom is still doing, but a very unfortunate Deadeye Pulse Bomb coming out. But you're looking at Death Blossom, which is sitting 77% against Cuddle Puddle, which need to make their way up to it. And Ryu will have the CMP very shortly. Geo ready to go at this blade. Your Chris maybe speed ring Geo up in to get this aggression onto the side of Death Blossom to press this Death Blossom team back.
Yeah, you have to see Daddy OK so incredibly low, but the DPS line on Death Blossom coming up massively here. Now trying to turn the tides with an EMP. Can't get the kill onto the Moira before the abilities come back online. Absolute tragedy for the Sombra there, and Death Blossom now flips it back in control.
Cuddle Puddle could have had something running for them if they were a little quicker there with Chris maybe popping a speed ring, like how I said. Geo could have done some devastational damage towards that Death Blossom side, but Death Blossom looking very good, and now they are up on this map point up in Saravasa, 1-2 the scoreline, and talking about the scoreline, it's kind of repeating itself as we get to see that top number, but Death Blossom, they have ultimates coming up, but Geo still waiting to pop this blade. It could be massive. Cuddle Puddle needs something in their hands to move forward and some point percentage to have some high hopes.
Yeah, and those high hopes are starting to dwindle, but like you said, it's never over until the fat lady sings, and last I checked, I haven't been singing, so now we're going to see Cuddle Puddle ready to engage, already set up on the point here. The Malga getting a little bit aggressive, able to assault onto the high ground here as Deadeye is taken care of at the hands of Geo. Now this Malga ready to go with a duplicate actually, and the blade now coming out from Geo as well, trying to see if they can find more in the fight. It will just be infused onion. I feel like this Juno is just getting the rough end of it today. That duplicate ultimately comes up with nothing. Now so incredibly low. JML is going to be removed from the fight, but the Junker Queen is still here. Meanwhile, a Coalescence now out from Ride Plains 2. Neither DPS alive, and now the Malga is going to be the last one to fall here as Cuddle Puddle gets first tap, but Death Blossom quickly win the fight.
Yeah, and seeing from a Moira player able to get 3 there, that's definitely impressive. Death Blossom able to control this side of Cuddle Puddle now, building their way back up to that percentage marking of 25%. But if you are Cuddle Puddle, Brook can definitely come back with that cage fight. All they need to do is speed ring, as we get to see.
Yeah, and so now we see it in clear as day. Daddy OK removed from the fight here, so it should not be any other ultimates committed. This orbital ray, even the cherry on top of the fight here. We're seeing how long Death Blossom can stall it out. The Moira fades into the backline, but that is just a simple, time bought here, as now the flip's going to come back to Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, Cuddle Puddle didn't even need to use Brook's ultimate, so great way to communicate that if you are Cuddle Puddle, but now you also have a fantastic opportunity of using another ultimate against this Death Blossom team. But Death Blossom, you look at that ultimate economy, they don't have anything just so yet. Daddy OK, the closest to getting an ultimate, but you're also seeing Cuddle Puddle build up that EMP. That could be another thing that we're able to possibly see here.
Yeah, potential lights out. You have to worry about this EMP as now the gate fight comes through, doesn't connect on it anyway. Oh, actually, the Queen is in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're trying to heal her, but Daddy OK now removed from the fight, and that is going to be just a cage fight for a quick fight victory here. The Moira can't do much else, and that's going to be us tied up 2 apiece on Saravasa, heading to Garden to settle it all.
Yeah, we're moving on here, 2-2, and yeah, Saravasa is looking a great map for both of the teams. Death Blossom, Daddy OK is going to have this JQ ultimate. Same with Deadeye with this Pulse Bomb ready to go. GML, though, building up that duplication as we get to see. Perks are online for both of the sides, so that is going to be intriguing to see. But what is EMP getting 3?
Yeah, the EMP, but nobody is able to actually follow up, so it's almost a wasted opportunity. Sure, you're able to EMP out the Rampage, but it's just the damage is already being done because nobody follows up on these hacks. So that's going to allow Death Blossom to get the first cap.
Yeah, Death Blossom and Deadeye doing a fantastic job. It's always like Deadeye has been up into that kill feed. And you look at those DPS ultimates up on the side of Blossom. They got 2 ready to go. If you are Rye and Infused Onion, getting close to those as well. But Cuddle Puddle, they are struggling as what it seems to be. They need to get something here, but JML able to get the dupe.
Yeah, getting a dupe, I'm doing Malga here, but it's not going to be like those other dupes. It's not going to find as much success, and the anti onto JML means that they are not long for this world. With the help of the Orbital Ray, Geo is going to slice and dice without a blade needing to be pulled here, and now it is just Death Blossom falling over left and right, as now it is going to be a flip eventually for Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, but look at the way that Death Blossom are still holding this. This is a great coverage from the side of Death Blossom to take them to this 61% point marking. And now, if you're Death Blossom, you really don't gotta worry about Cuddle Puddle. Maybe you do, though, because Brook, Executing, and Geo will have ultimates to sustain or oppress your other ultimates up on the center of Death Blossom. But look at Ryan. Ryan able to pop through.
Yeah, but the Nano Blade is not going to care about a Cole at all.
Yeah.
With 3 in the fight, absolutely massive cleanup.
Holy, I mean, we just got to see a broom sweep up on my screen. That was fantastic from Cuddle Puddle. Geo really working well. But yeah, Cuddle Puddle now escaping this 61% marking. And yeah, Brook is going to be set forth with this cage fight ready to go. And Ryu charging up that EMP. But look at the rotation from Death Blossom. They are set with Deadeye up on the corner.
And so now the cage fight comes through, but they're all in the orbital ray trying to stay healthy. But an anti-nade makes it so health is not possible here. Daddy OK tries to through the rampage into this, connects onto 2, but you're going to have to come up with so many kills, especially with a healthy Malga, and they just don't touch! So Cuddle Puddle, off the back of a C9, gets to stay in it and send us to map number 5.
And what a series. Like, we've been seeing action on action, and it's just been such great performance and high intel from both of the teams. They are really collecting their data out of this. But yeah, Cuddle Puddle finding that equalizer. They are going to be trying to get something heading up into this map 5. And yeah, just a fantastic work from them. Mega, if I were to question anything about that, will we be able to see more of those key players stand out heading into this next match? Well, this next map.
That is going to be the question of how great these players can be on a map 5. It's exhausting, it's tiring to go this far, but clearly these teams were destined for it. But to cool it down, give them a moment to chance and to breathe and set it all up, we're going to go to one more quick break. So on the other side of it, we will have the final map, the conclusion of this series, so don't go in.
Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
All right, welcome on back. Hopefully, have gotten yourself any and everything you need, because we are going into map number 5 here, Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom. They don't want it to end. They want us here to witness this spectacle, and with a ride to finals on the line, I can certainly see why.
Yeah, both of these teams want to put a ticket, will punch their ticket into that great scheme of things, and both of them have been putting up a fair fight. Matter of fact, we did get some words over break. The next map will be Shambali Monastery, and looking at that map, it's gonna be, maybe poke could be played there, maybe more dive. It's going to be important to those backlines to not get picked by tanks or these DPS, because if you're not curing in those situations, you're going to see a downtime or a down factor of your team losing. So they just got to keep up the good mental going up into this map 5.
Keep it up, keep it going as best they can into Shambali Monastery, like you said. But in order for this to continue, in order for us to figure things out, we have to see what bans are coming up here. I'm going to be interested to see what our final set of bans are going to be. These teams have been jumping all over the place. Technically only a single or 2 tank bans, I was about to say, but a single tank ban for each team, more focusing down on the supports and DPS options. So where is Death Blossom going to take this?
So, Death Blossom, you're looking at the bans that already happened. A lot going in for of the supports. Maybe a damage could be big for them here, but I could see this going up in the tank way. Will it go up in the tank way? No, it's actually going to be going to the Mei. And something to talk about this Mei is we did get to see Mei played up on King's Row. That was very well done. And, yeah, taking this out, it's definitely not bad looking, but let's talk about Cuddle Puddle, Mega.
Yeah, we have to look at what Cuddle Puddle is doing now. Their options are, vast, as long as it's not a DPS option. Of course, that's off the table here. They could take a turn, potentially banning Lucio to get rid of a speed option. but really, ultimately, it comes down to potentially what they want to play here. We're expecting brawl comps on Shambali. Nothing really deviates from that, and it seems like they're going to take it their turn to take Kiriko out of the fight. So no cleansing Suzus anywhere. It's just going to be some raw brawl against each other.
Yeah, brawl could be seen here, but also dive. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to get pulled out. You could run on a brig back line, or maybe if you wanted to just go a little quicker, you can. But looking at those bans, you get to see a wide variety, right? And I gotta say, both of the teams are changing tools with these bans, as we basically got to see. But yeah, what a phenomenal series of hero bans from both. And heading up into this map 5, these bans are definitely going to be important. They need to be, because if not, and if they're showing lack of their team composition, you're going to see the team fall a little short, depending. So let's take a look at these substitutions. Matter of fact, as we got word, Battle Josh is going to be coming in for Chris. So bye Chris, but welcome Battle Josh once again. It is 2-2 here. Cuddle Puddle taking on Death Blossom. Who will move on? Who knows? But we will be starting here very shortly. Mega looking up into this one. I know we don't want it to go as far, but looking at the King's Row, it was very, very close.
Yeah, it was incredibly close. You think of those extra rounds, and it certainly is something that is on the table here as an option, but these teams are certainly ready to give it their all regardless of any outcome. So we just have to simply wait and see. As a pause has come through, somebody's asked for a pause. There's a DC. I'm going to break my keyboard in half. I can't do it anymore. It's over. It's done. I'm just...
Well, here, let's talk a little. Right, so we got Cuddle Puddle still up in this one. They're trying to find some answers, right? Against the Death Blossom team, they had a nice win against Death Blossom in that last map. But with Battle Josh coming in for Chris, this could change things up for any of the sides. But yeah, I hope chat kind of agrees to both of the team sides. Maybe we can get some Preds up in the chat. Who's gonna win this, chat? Who do you think is gonna pull out the victory here? I know I got my eyes up on one deadly team. It's kind of up in their name, but hey, I love the little otters. I love them. You know, Cuddle Puddle, great little logo. Phenomenal work of mass destruction, though, up on Death Blossom. And hey, maybe I just did a little Persona vibe.
Maybe just maybe indeed, as we're just stuck waiting
I didn't see it coming.
for a player to rejoin the lobby. Yeah, I don't know. Today is certainly a day to do this to me, but hey, it's fine. Everything's great. You know, this is just the match that keeps on giving, and it's giving everybody time. It's giving people time to earn CGL tokens. We all like CGL tokens, right? You can use them on the CGL site.
You know, I totally forgot about this, honestly.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. They're great. You can buy things with them.
Isn't there like 300 coins that you could buy or something?
Something like that. There's also team logos, so that way you can get cool looking logos like these teams instead of people over in EU who decided that they're going to have images of just dudes standing in fields as their team logos. Cough, cough. What? I don't even remember your team name. I just remember I'm annoyed at your logo.
Some guy had like a basketball guy. I think it was like Bum FC that has like a basketball player, if I were to recall it. It's one or two of them. But yeah, it's just some dude standing. Maybe it's not Bum FC. It's actually somebody else. I think it was BBC. Matter of fact, yeah, BBC. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. I mean, just so many guys, things, and wow, it's about to be.
What do you want to talk about, Mega? Heading up into this one, I know that's going to be interesting.
I think if I talk about what I want to talk about, I think this broadcast would cease to be. It would probably be pulled from the archive, so to speak. So I think instead we're going to talk about what the best piece of lore between Ramatra and Zenyatta is, since we're on Shambali Monastery.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that is something to talk. But from Word of Prod, we will be resuming soon. That is fantastic for us here up on desk. But let's do this once again. We're here up on Shambali Monastery. This one should be with a lot of action. But look at all those hills. So much elevation in Shambali. But let's take a look at Cuddle Puddle. Cuddle Puddle is going to be bringing out Brook here up on this Ramatra. But looking at Death Blossom, they're bringing out a Sigma variant. So it's going to be something to watch, especially when JML is playing the Widow and the Battle Josh is playing Lucio. So maybe if Josh wanted to get a little aggressive up on the JML, they can. But I know me as a Lucio player, I would do that, but not up in a competitional match like this where you can move on. So, yeah, hopefully they didn't hear anything. Death Blossom and Cuddle Puddle, we are off to the races in here right now.
Right here, right now, you're going to see Brook start on the Ramatra, trying to see a bit of the homeland buff can be the difference for this Omnic. Meanwhile, Daddy OK on the other side, starting on the Sigma character, trying to, you know, play this a little bit slower, give some angles, let your Widowmaker do the cooking here. This is going to result in these battles where Daddy OK has to back up, but actually Deadeye's going to find one on the Andoru as the Sombra gets a little bit overzealous with their positioning, goes in just a tad too deep. Now it is going to be Brook on the other side of things, having to back up now, give a little bit of ground on this Ramatra as the Sigma is moving forward, having to be incredibly careful of these Widowmakers firing off shots left, right, and center. But JML has not connected with anything just yet, so this is just simply a continued poke war.
Yeah, JML is still just trying to find an answer here for Death Blossom, but a sleep up onto Brook. Maybe this is their chances here, if you are Death Blossom, to get an initial pick.
It's a chance indeed, because Brook was so incredibly low, but actually manages to make it around the corner with just 40 HP and is healed up now. So now holding on to the wall here. Not really anything a Widowmaker can do behind a wall. It is an anti-applied onto a few members here, but they're able to just simply wait it out. They don't have a cleanser, they don't need it. Now the Gravitic Flux comes through, it connects onto the Honest, so incredibly low, is followed up on by Deadeye. So now we are in a 4v4 engagement, but make that a 3v4. Death Blossom is finding themselves at a number advantage thanks to their Sigma player, and the rest of Cuddle Puddle is running for the hills, waiting for a reset.
So Death Blossom switching it up now with JML playing the Sojourn. They can find a little difference there, but Cuddle Puddle, will they look for a retouch here? It's a maybe. Maybe Brook can get there with that ability of Ramatra, and as it seems to be here, they will be able to contest.
Being able to contest for the time being. Now you're seeing Andoru just being able to get some good cleanup with the help of Brook here and Cuddle Puddle for their defenses, at least holding for the time being.
Yeah, and I like what Andoru has been, providing up on the side of Cuddle Puddle, playing this Sombra into the line of Death Blossom. And, they made Daddy OK swap to this Orisa now. So if you are Daddy OK, maybe you're able to bring this pressure more into Cuddle Puddle, into the Dying Embers, where you only have 1 minute and 25 to get this first point. Now, this is very good and possibly holdable for the side of Cuddle.
Yeah, and so now an anti being applied here with a sound barrier, though, means that Death Blossom is going to have to try to run for the hills. The Ramatra is sleeping before any ultimate is popped, but Geo has found one with the Deadeye here, so Cuddle Puddle's defense is holding strong now with a nano onto the Orisa, not gaining anything as well here. Death Blossom has to choose if they're trying to re-engage as 4 or wait for their Juno. It seems like the call is to re-engage with just the 4 members here. Deadeye's duplicate not going so well right now. Incredibly low, is forced out of it, but JML did find one at Andoru, so now it is going to be the Ramatra on the other side, trying to change the tide here. The orbital ray comes out just too late to save Ray's life. The healing versus the Echo. What will win? And it seems to be the healing right now that is keeping Brook in this fight. Now 30 seconds left. Death Blossom has to reset.
Could be a little quicker than we expected this one to go. Death Blossom able to put Deadeye now up onto this Genji. Will it be able to find anything? You're starting at a 16% JML though. Ready to go with this Sojourn. That's the only ultimate that Death Blossom has. Needs to be aware of this EMP. EMP could be extremely dangerous. And EMP is popped.
EMP is popped. It's already killed 2 members here. Deadeye does manage to kill 1 onto Andoru, but it seems like nobody on the side of Death Blossom is going to touch the second time tonight. The payload, the objective is their enemy. And Cuddle Puddle's strong defense gives them a high likelihood of taking the series.
Yeah, no more roller coaster ride anymore for one of the teams. And now, if you are Cuddle Puddle, you are able to find much more scenarios heading into this. This could be extremely easy, but you look at the pro teams that have been in this scenario before. They've got, flip-flops. It's a little bit of a table turner. But Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom, let's see what they run out with. We got 5 more seconds. If I were to say anything, maybe we could see more of the poke, more of the brawl, maybe a dive here, but not too surprised. Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom looking to bring the brawl to the game and the ring. You want to keep punching their way to possibly a scenario of moving forward. Death Blossom needs something, though. They're in a tough spot, especially out of that attacking phase. It wasn't what Death Blossom fans wanted or Death Blossom players in this match wanted too, but you have Death Blossom playing a unique composition, and look at how they're positioning. This could change the whole entire script. Death Blossom could possibly get these initial picks and have time to themselves if Cuddle Puddle doesn't read this.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the spawn hold attempt goes as Zaddy OC going to be swinging that hammer on 1 doorway. JML has found a kill onto Geo here, but Brook has already removed Rai from the fight. So 1 piece, make it 2, is missing from this. So the spawn hold is going to have to be given up, even with Death Blossom getting the win.
Yeah, so Death Blossom, very, very well done there. They are holding very close. I liked what they did with Danny OK up onto that grind, but a little bit of a sleep dart hitting Danny OK. So Danny OK will need to back up, but Cuddle Puddle, they need to escort this just a bit to control that Reinhardt that Danny OK is providing.
Yeah, and so now having to be incredibly careful here as you're no longer in a spawn hold. That's where this composition is going to be favored. JML is just simply firing rockets away here, trying to see what they can do. Geo attracts the attention of a Reaper and is not able to withstand it. Now a good sleep dart with the help of a Lucio Speed, trying to get Executing out of there in time, but it seems like it's going to be a fruitless endeavor as they're staggering themselves.
Yeah, Death Blossom looking extremely well and good. A lot improved from them out of what we got to see a stopped attacking phase. But look at that ultimate economy building up. Deadeye could position a nasty Reaper Blossom or even JML with a barrage. That could happen very shortly. But something to look forward to is how this Rhine places this Shatter. I would love to see a massive Shatter.
A massive shatter asked for it, a massive shatter given. It connects onto 2, actually, and it's all that is needed there. And again, this defense is holding strong with just the 1 ultimate invested.
Yeah, I am very impressed, and I'm watching this. That was very great. Daddy OK with a phenomenal shatter, able to find more and more potential for this Death Blossom team to take more time out of this Cuddle Puddle side. Now, you're looking at Cuddle Puddle. Brook needs to do something with this Annihilation coming up, and will it be popped here very shortly? Question marks are in the air. Brook hasn't popped it just yet, but it is going to be popped.
Have to be careful here, but already some good kills going the way of Cuddle Puddle. But just like that, the tide is being turned thanks to the Orbital Ray. A massive help of healing and damage boost is going to be there. Infused Onion is going to end up falling incredibly late at the hands of the Sombra. And the Translocator being oh so sneaky to get out of there in time is going to send both Deadeye and Daddy OK back and waiting for the team.
Yeah, I'm still very impressed. I was not expecting this to happen from Death Blossom. I really thought Cuddle Puddle was going to be able to control this a little more against Death Blossom, but as we can see, minute and 9 ticking. They still need to find something, and the Nano up onto Brook here could find some.
Could find
my God,
something, but we'll have to see. The Deadeye actually is going to, so now we've traded back and forth here, but it's a positive trade for Cuddle Puddle, and that means the payload is going to keep on moving, and the team kill gong rings out.
Yeah, Brook is swinging right now, and Cuddle Puddle, they are looking good. Battle Josh almost with his orbital ray, but and the Ryu, they wanted to answer with that EMP, which is coming up very shortly. They could, but this is going to be contested. It needs to be on point here, on forward, if you are Death Blossom.
That is the hope, that is the dream. So now with less than 30 seconds, this entire match could be decided here and now. An orbital ray being met with a rally, but the hack comes through. The EMP is massive, and Brook cleaving through everybody with that Winston. It means that Death Blossoms, their undefeated season, ends here, and Cuddle Puddle, the Giant Slayer, slays another to send themselves to the grand finals.
What a victorious team here that we got in front, and they are saying GG's up in match chat, so very much respectable sides from both. But yeah, Mega, what a series we had. So much action back and forth. Very great, very phenomenal, intriguing to watch. But let's get back to the desk here, right? So we're back up on desk. It's 3-2, Cuddle Puddle, and matter of fact, we're gonna be having an interview very, very shortly.
Yes, indeed, because that was just so intense, so amazing. We're going to want to get some thoughts from our winner and just how amazing that was. So while we get that set up from somebody on the side of Cuddle Puddle, we'll throw it to just another break. This one will be shorter though, we promise. We're just going to drag somebody in, make sure they're all set, good to go, and then we'll get you all of that spicy information that you love to hear from the victor. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty, asked for the interview, and we have delivered. We have ourselves one of the lovely members of Cuddle Puddle. It's Gio here to chat about the match. First things first, how you doing? Congrats on that victory.
Thank you. I'm doing great. One hell of a match. Props to DB.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting right on into it, you guys did, come into this as the underdogs, just like you did with your last matchup, because you have that 3-1 record versus some of these undefeated teams. Is that weighing on y'all's minds at all, or just simply another game we just got to show up?
More of the latter, but there has been chatter around the league. We've heard it, and we felt like we couldn't disappoint in the tournament.
Wow. So a lot of high hopes and ands held high for this Cuddle Puddle side as seeming. And yeah, Gio, a fantastic and phenomenal work from you today playing your role. I got to see so much nice work from you guys up on the side. But something that I kind of want to question is heading up into this next matchup. What do you favor your opponent? What do you think your opponent is going to try and do against your team?
Oh man, we actually played them week 1, very first game. I believe we lost 0-3. It was not pretty. Came back from it. They ran a lot of hazard, looked to dive our back line, split us, and try to force chaos. Just got to have a clear vision on what we want to do and stick to our game plan.
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it makes perfect. And so, I mean, yeah, just looking forward with those potential opponents and things like that. Like you said, a lot of chatter around the league. Maybe anything you want to say to anybody who doubted y'all, or just, anything maybe you just want to get off your chest real quick.
Nope, not yet. Job's
Not
done.
yet.
We got
I
one more
respect
game.
I respect it, but not yet. Well, at the very least, maybe you could shout out some teammates or anybody else you want to give props to for the win today.
First of all, my entire team, but let's go name by name. Dargo, coach, been playing with him for about a year now. XQD, Battle Josh, Brooke, best friend of her life, Killer Tank, Keeps the Bot, and Chris. And of course, can't forget Andori, my nemesis. But honestly, great job, guys. So proud of y'all. And do it again this weekend.
Do it again
congratulations.
this weekend. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I just have to echo it. Congrats again on the victory. Go ahead, enjoy this one, and get ready for that grand finals matchup coming up this weekend.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Of course, Gio.
Bye.
Just like that, yeah, another one in the books. It was a lovely matchup to say the least here, but Cuddle Puddle again defy the odds and stay alive.
Yeah, Cuddle Puddle moving on forward. They are going to be interested in their next map, next match. And as we got the words, right, they were struggling against that week 1 opponent, and they're going to be facing that week 1 opponent. So they got a lot of work ahead of them for that matchup. But hey, until we get to see what happens, until that scoreline shows, we can determine that winner.
Yes, indeed, but that'll have to be decided on another day because it's the end of our broadcast today. Here, we had some amazing matches and everything come up. In case you were living under a rock, we could show the schedule one last time. Here on CGL 2, we just finished Cuddle Puddle versus Death Blossom. CGL 1 also had a Map 5 banger, Amplify versus Team Vex, but Amplify being able to hold their own there. Had some lovely EU matches earlier in the day. You can read the scores. You got that one. I promise, chat, you can read. But with all that being said, we're going to get up out of here for the evening. Of course, shout out to Rhino Vod for being our lovely producer for the evening. And I believe we had Bagel Observer? Or Bakery. I don't know why I said bagel. Listen, but yeah, thank you for being an amazing observer, getting us all those in-game shots we know and love and need. But with all that being said, we hope you have a wonderful evening, and we're out of here. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.